My number one shoe of 2020 is the Good morning, YouTube. Oh wait, hold on. Check it out. What's up, guys? I hope you're safe and healthy and happy and doing okay. If you're watching this on Christmas Eve and you celebrate, then Merry Christmas. If not, Happy Holidays to you and yours. This is kind of distracting. I guess I should turn it off for the review. So we've made it. 2020 is coming to a close, and I'm sure we're all very happy about that. But of course, that also means that all of the running shoe tubers out there are letting you guys know their favorite picks for the year. And this channel is no different. Despite 2020 being kind of a dumpster fire, the running shoe technology and the shoes that just came out in general were fantastic. And it took me a long time to kind of make this list and decide, well, did I like this better than this shoe? Well, what about this shoe? So I have my top 5 and then I have a couple honorable mentions. But before we get started today, I do want to let you guys know, as always, that the majority of these shoes were sent to me for the purpose of review, either by Running Warehouse or by the running shoe brand themselves. But I don't get paid to make these reviews. Nobody tells me what to say, and all of my opinions are from my head right here, this noggin. All right, let's start with the honorable mentions for my favorite shoes of 2020. The first honorable mention on my list may come as a surprise to you guys because my first run impression was sort of mixed, but that is the HOKA Rocket X. I thought it was just all right. There were better carbon plated shoes, and I just didn't know why anybody would grab this one. Well, sure enough, as I began to put more miles in this shoe, I realized that I really enjoy the Rocket X for longer, up-tempo paced efforts. I don't know if I would necessarily grab it for a marathon or for a race, but what I like about it is that it's so subtle, the carbon plate and the rocker technology, and it works really nicely. It's not a harsh ride like some other carbon plated shoes tend to be. It didn't quite make the top 5 because there are shoes that I like a little bit better, but it's up there. The next honorable mention on my list is the SAUCONY ENDORPHIN Pro. This is certainly my favorite carbon plated shoe that came out on the market in 2020, and it sort of gave me hope and promise that I didn't necessarily need to wear a Next% to go fast and to race. The only reason why this didn't make the top 5 is because I don't really have enough miles in it, unfortunately. But I really think Saucony did a fantastic job making a true competitor to the Next%. And this shoe is sort of in a class of its own. But yeah, Saucony ENDORPHIN Pro, honorable mention. And my third honorable mention is the Saucony Triumph 17. You know, I feel like I've said it in every video, but Saucony really killed it in 2020, and the Triumph 17 was no different for me. This was my first introduction to the Power Run Plus midsole, and I fell in love with it. The Triumph 17 is a really solid daily trainer. The only reason why it didn't make the top 5 is because it is a little bit heavier than all the other options I'm about to talk about, but it was really tough. This was on the cusp of top 5. Like I said, 2020 just annihilated it with running shoes. All right, let's start with the top 5. You guys ready? Coming in at number 5 is the New Balance Beacon 3. This was another shocker shoe for me. When I first got it, I was like, oh God, this is not gonna work. It looks like a flat pancake. There's no rocker technology here. It just doesn't look like it's gonna feel great. And even when I slipped it on my foot, it just kind of felt flat. But I was very wrong about this shoe because when I started running, I was like, damn, that feels good. I just think this is a really good shoe for somebody who just wants one shoe. It can do the daily training miles, but it can also absolutely do tempo days. And I just really enjoy this. I don't have as many miles in this shoe as I do the other ones in the top 5, which is kind of why it's number 5. But as I continue to put more miles in this shoe, I just love it more and more and more. I was wrong about you. What can I say? Coming in at number 4 is the ATREYU base model. If you've been following my channel for some time, You already know that I love this shoe. I love this company. I love what they're doing. And this was easily one of my favorite shoes of 2020. And again, it's not one that I expected to be so good. The first run that I took the shoe out on was a 10-mile race that I did with my fiance, and it felt really, really good. And while I was going maybe a little bit easier that day, I've taken this out for tempo days and strides, and it performed just as good, just as well. I did a 7-mile race at more my pace in this shoe, and I felt so good the whole time, never needed more underfoot. And not only that, but it feels great on your wallet too for under $100. It just goes to show you that with all of this technology in the running shoe industry, yeah, that's all great, well and good, but sometimes it's nice to just have a simple shoe that you don't have to think about, that doesn't have a ton of bells and whistles on it. Just a running shoe that's gonna help you run. Good job, ATREYU, number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have the Saucony Ride 13. This is a pretty simple shoe. We have the Power Run midsole, which is firmer, but you do get a nice bit of response, and you do have protection. You have a very comfortable upper, a gusseted tongue that wraps your foot for a good lockdown through the midfoot. But I found myself reaching for this shoe time and time again, and I think it's because it's just a trusted, solid daily trainer that's just gonna help you get the miles in. When I picked up the pace in this shoe, even though it's not exactly meant for that, it felt really good. Like you do feel that talk back and that energy and response from the midsole. And I just couldn't get enough miles out of this shoe. When I did the Philadelphia Marathon in 2018, I ran in the Ride ISO. So I think I feel a little bit at home in the Ride 13. It's similar. I still do want to reach for this a lot of the time, but unfortunately I have a lot of shoes in the queue right now. But whenever I can, I reach for the Ride 13. Ooh, we're getting closer. We're up to number 2, and that is the HOKA One One RINCON. Yes, if you watched my full review of this shoe, I kind of gave it a really hard time for the durability. But durability aside, this is such a good feeling shoe. It's lightweight, the midsole is soft, but you get a little bit of response, and that Meta Rocker technology just pushes you forward. It feels great. I took the shoe out on a 10-mile run one day, wasn't anticipating doing 10 miles, but felt really good and fresh, and my feet just felt they were having a great time in this shoe. So I just took it to 10 miles and it felt great every step of the way. I still stand by the fact that this shoe has a durability issue, but I think the ride of it, the lightweightness of it, the versatility of it, the price of it kind of overshadowed that a bit. You want to take this shoe out on a 10-mile run at a moderate pace, you can. You want to take this shoe out for some strides, you can. It's just such a joy to run in. Problem is, you're probably gonna need to buy 2. And just like that, we've made it to number 1. Should I put my party lights back on for it? Hang on. There we go, now we're set. My number 1 shoe of 2020 is the New Balance 990. Nah, I'm just kidding. Good shoe though. Is the Saucony Endorphin Speed. This is sort of anticlimactic. If you watch any of my videos, I've been raving about this shoe since the very first day that I got it. But this is my favorite shoe of 2020, and quite possibly, I mean, I can't put it in front of the OG Clifton because that shoe means way more to me than just running. But this might be my favorite shoe of all time. So this is basically like a trainer tempo day version to the Endorphin Pro. So we have a lot of the characteristics of the Endorphin Pro. We have the Power Run PB midsole, which is amazing. It's so responsive, energetic, very lively, soft, and it's not too soft, so you do get a little bit of firmness too. It's perfect. And then instead of the carbon plate that's in the Pro, we have a nylon plate here, which I just think was such a good idea because it makes this shoe 100 times more versatile. You can race in this shoe if you want, you can do your tempo day runs in this shoe, and you can do some daily training in this. I will admit that I have done that and it feels pretty good. The upper is comfortable and breathable and more structured than the carbon plated shoe, the Pro. It's lightweight and the price had to make sense. And while some people might think that $160 is a lot of money, it is a lot of money, but I think for a shoe that can do it all, $160 is realistic. I truly cannot say enough good things about this shoe. There has never been an instance that I've taken it out and not enjoyed myself. Well, I did struggle during that half marathon that I ran in, but it was not because of the shoe at all. Despite the lack of racing in 2020, it was an amazing year for running shoes and running shoe technology. And to me, the Endorphin Speed came out on top. But if you're looking for a badass casual shoe, then get the 990. And those are all my fave shoes. If you're interested in buying any of these shoes, I'll link them all down below in the description of this video. Keep in mind, these are affiliate links with Running Warehouse. However, that doesn't mean much for you. It just helps out my channel so I can help you guys make the best decision possible for you and your running. And that concludes my top 5 shoes of 2020. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit that notifications bell down below so you can find out every time I upload a new video. I should try to run like a 5K in this shoe for a video or something. I have another video for you guys on Sunday, but in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like hell. See you next time.